Okay, guys, want to welcome you to a special R&B podcast, and I've got with my friend Stevie here, and we've got a special guest joining us live. Stevie, before we bring him in,
we've got technically one half of the dynamic duo, the New Jack Swing, R&B, funk, hip hop duo from the late 80s, early 90s. They were first known as Touch, and then they got signed to a major, and they called themselves Entouch. And we're going to be talking to Free Smith, the rapper, one of the main guys behind it. We've been trying to get hold of him for a few years now. Finally, we managed to get hold of him, and he's going to tell his story. Here he is. Free, how you doing, sir?
Salute. How are you guys, man?
Good evening.
It's a pleasure to be
evening,
here.
doing very well.
We're excited. So excited to have you, seriously.
I feel like the oddball because I don't have the accent. But, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Music is definitely a universal language. So as long as we're speaking music and in peace, we'll all speak in the same language.
Well, Lord knows the world needs both a lot right now.
Before we get into how I normally start, I noticed that you posted sort of a tribute to D'Angelo, who lost yesterday. Any words you want to say about D'Angelo? And
yeah, that one actually got real tears out of me. You know, who has he not influenced? You know what I mean? And quick story. I guess this is a quick way to start it off. Gary Harris, y'all may know the name. He was VP over at EMI. He's the one who signed D'Angelo to EMI originally. We were good friends, known each other for years. And when he told me this story, it killed me. But the first tape that D'Angelo ever sent him was him doing Too Hype.
Wow.
It was doing his rendition of Too Hype. It was one of his favorite songs. And I really didn't believe G. I was like, yo, you gassing me, get out of here. And then hanging out with him, and I got to meet D. And yeah, he was like, yo, that was my song. I did it at my high school talent show, and it won. So I re-recorded it and sent it in the EMI. And that's the reason why Gary Harris, well, one of the reasons, not the reason, that Gary Harris reached back to it. So, you know, that kind of made, you know, if you don't sell 100 million records and you know, you may not reach your grandest dream of this when you was a kid, little things like that let you know it's all worth it. Every single high, low, peak, and valley is worth it when you was able to influence somebody who influenced the world. And while I'm leaving that, let me give a quick shout to, y'all may not know, I worked with the rap group MOP for years, for over 20 years. I'm playing keyboards on their first album. And I've actually produced a couple of joints for them and Billy Dan's individually. And somebody from the crew, Flipper, AKA younger than me, uncle younger than me, he passed, not yesterday, the day before yesterday. So it was a back-to-back day for me. Don't you hate those?
Jeez.
Yeah, and I just want to give him a shout. And God bless his soul, and I love you, Flip. Now, we may proceed in better spirits.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we've got an international audience, but also we've got a live audience. A lot of people who are true fans of you and the legacy of the group. And so, but we always like to start off from where you were sort of born and raised, so we can just get a flavor of your background.
I'm born and raised in the BX, Bronx, New York, from the area called the Valley, which is very much a fabric of who and what I am to this day, from the Northeast Bronx. Shout to the Valley stand up. And, you know, everything for me started there, everything, the good and the bad.
I say for those of us who, even I went to college in the States, but for those of us who aren't from the States, hip hop sort of was almost like a roadmap to, especially around New York. So you had the Bronx, so maybe Boogie Down Production or something like that. So you had Queens and LL or not.
Listen, man, Valley Park, where we grew up, they don't talk about Valley Park enough because it was very much like the Madison Square Garden of hip hop jams. And I'm talking 76, 77, 78. I'm an 8, 9, 10-year old kid out there at the jams on Sunday nights. And it was absolutely incredible. I mean, everybody played there. Grandmaster Flash, Furious 5. Sugar Hill Records actually do a Sugar Hill Day in our park.
Wow.
They took, like, there was a stage and giant basketball courts. They had acts on the courts and the stage. Cold Crush Brothers, Charlie Chase, African Bambaataa, Jazzy 5, Breakout, Funky 4 plus one more. These were my Sundays in the summer. You know what I mean? So it was very much a fabric of who and what I am. But I was, I tell my kids all the time, they'd be like, oh, Pops, you old, whatever. I wouldn't change the era that I was born in for nobody. You know what I mean? Because it was the best of both worlds.
I mean, when you grew up with that around, could you see hip hop being this multi-billion-dollar industry at that time, or was this just community culture stuff and,
Hell no. I had no idea, I didn't know it was going to make billionaires. You know what I mean? I had no idea it was going to make billionaires. Did anyone? Maybe Sylvia Robinson and Bobby Robinson and them guys, but they was just trying to make a quick buck and rip kids off. You know what I mean? They didn't know the giant thread that they were weaving into the fabric of American culture. They had no idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was a great time, man. There was clubs like the T Connection, Ecstasy Garage, the Black Door, Harlem World, PAL on 183rd and Webster. These are the jams we went to. These are the jams that we got robbed at sometimes. So those are the jams that I did some robbing sometimes back in the day. You know what I mean? It was the culture, like it was breakdancing was real. I remember battling it. I ain't like I was good at it, but it was part of the culture. You battling your friends in the park. Soon as Apache comes on, you know what I mean? And you just go in, and it's a great time, man. Great time to be alive.
But you mentioned that sort of so I would assume that was some of the good, but what were some of the bads around growing up in the 80s in New York for you?
I got shot when I was 14. That ain't helped much.
Wow.
I learned real early that the people you rock with, that you run the street with, their problems are your problems. And as a 14-year-old kid, I mean, I was a little street smart. And don't get it twisted. I ain't saying I'm no gangster, no tough. I may have been gangster adjacent. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Some of my closest friends, that's the life that was handed to them.
Mm-hmm.
And you rock with your friends. So I was in Brooklyn, ended up catching one, hit an artery in my arm.
Wow.
And I didn't know it. I didn't know it at the time. And here's the crazy thing. I was able to hide it from my mother until I was a grown-ass man that I got shot. That was hilarious because at that time I was already touring. Do y'all remember the disco funk group Unlimited Touch? I Hear Music in the Street, Searching to Find the One, Audrey Wheeler, vocalist legend, my big sis, Lenny Underwood, Sandy Anderson, besides the DNA, was my brother. He actually lived with me. He's how I got into business, him and Lenny. And I was touring with them. So they kind of had like a power of attorney or something for me because I was underage. And when I got hit, I called Sandy. Sandy had to sign all the papers and everything, patched me up and got me out of there in like 8 hours. Most of the world never even knew what happened.
Wow. Was okay. Was that traumatic though? I mean, or do you just feel as if, Yeah, that's a scar, battlefield scar.
14, your brain ain't developed, man. You're not really seeing like this could have been it. You know what I mean? And it was like my stupid ass actually, even I didn't really tell many people at the time. In my mind, it was like, oh, I'm one of them cats now. But I could have been one of them cats, in the ground. You know what I mean? So but yeah, it was you know, it happened, man. I lived through it. I lived through a lot. And one of the music saved me. It absolutely saved me. Because I may have became that gangster. Once I got past the fear factor of my mother, you know what I mean? And I was an angry kid. I lost family members 8 months apart. Like I lost my father and a brother literally 8 months apart. So, I'm 13. I was 12 when it happened. I'm rageful. You know what I mean? For a 12-year-old kid to go through that in that short amount of time, I was rageful. So, music kind of was the thing that settled the rage. But I was still, 1 foot out there. You know what I mean? You do what your friends do at that point.
Yeah. It reminds me of Bryce Wilson, who was briefly in Mantronics and Groove Theory. He spoke about
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, he spoke about growing up in Queens, and his mom couldn't control him, so she sent him to the South.
That's what happened to me.
Okay,
I got kicked out of the New York school system. I wasn't allowed to go to school nowhere in New York. I had to go to school in Jersey.
Wow.
And but this one wasn't my fault. A vice principal called me the N-word. And I'm in 6th, 7th grade. Mind you, when I'm in 6th, 7th grade, I'm 180 pounds, 5'10". Okay? I was never a small person, even when I was a small person. I'm probably the smallest right now than I've been in my adult life. Okay? So when he did that, instinctively, I punched him. He fell over a desk, lost his eye, or damaged his eye, and they tried to put me in kiddie jail. My mother had to go to courts, everything. I ended up going to private school in Jersey where my aunt was the principal and my uncle was the vice principal.
Wow.
And I was traveling from the Bronx to Newark, New Jersey every day as an 11-year-old kid by myself. So, it was different times then. You could do that back then.
Yeah. How did you get into? How did music come your way then? In the midst of all this,
my older brother Gene was my idol as a kid, and he played. He was kind of known in the valley as the musician. You know what I mean? He played bass. He played guitar. He played keyboards, and I started off imitating him. Whenever he was home, I would take his bass and put it on and get in the mirror, and just thinking I'm acting like him. I would put on Prince records. I would put on Graham Central Station, Sly Stone, and before I knew it, I was playing along with the records.
wow.
And my mother bought me a guitar, an electric guitar, when I was like 5 or 6. So I didn't have to always mess with his. So I just started picking it up. So I can't remember if basic guitar was first. It probably was guitar. And then, that was like 5, 6. Then I started messing with the bass. My last instrument was keyboards. But, that was for 2 reasons. One, when you sat in the music room, I went to Truman High School in the Bronx, Co-op City. You sat to play Purple Rain in the music room. You were special. You know what I mean? So I was like, let me learn how to play this keyboard thing. And Lenny Underwood, who's like a big brother, y'all probably heard of him. He's played on thousands of records, and he was a member of Unlimited Touch. And he was a mentor to me. My 3 mentors were my brother Gene. He got the whole thing started. Sandy Anderson, who started playing bass because of my brother Gene, because he was a saxophone player first. And Lenny Underwood, who was master keyboardist when he was in high school. and still killing them to this day. So those are the guys that got me interested and supported me. And Lenny and Sandy took me on tour when I hear music in the street. I was their roadie at like 13, 14 years old.
My goodness. It's so you're probably one of my first guests that didn't play at Ebenezer Baptist Church and play in the Sunday choir and
No.
talk about the influence of
Maybe
that.
a DJ recently was saying to me, I mostly do house music now. I love it. I enjoy it. As y'all both know, that's where we started with Without You. And no one cares how old you are in house. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I liken it very close to gospel.
Oh.
It gives you that freedom. It gives you that release. You look at somebody in a house club and Louis Vega or Terry Hunter or one of them cats is on playing, or Natasha Diggs and one of them, people are lost. They're letting go of everything. And I wanted to start supplying that feeling again, especially in this chaotic world right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I've been doing a lot of that. I don't know how I even got to that. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm getting old.
Hey, no. I don't worry. I always know how to go back, so just keep going. It doesn't matter at all.
I know it is. And the Paradise Garage, huge influence. Larry Levan basically started our career. Him and Timmy Regisford.
Timmy Regisford, goodness, he's one of the guys that we hear in everyone's story, from kids at work to.
Timmy was everything to everybody. Okay. Eric McCain, my partner, he met Timmy in the elevator or something. And Eric had a job in the Jingle House. So he had access to a studio. I had another friend, Kent, who knew him. And I'm sure you both are familiar with Commissioner Gordon Williams. 8-time Grammy winner, engineer, producer, Santana, Lauryn Hill, Will Smith, it goes on and on. So he knew both of them. And he was like, they're trying to put a group together. And I was on some rebellious Prince shit. Like, I want to be around people. Because, as much as I listen to hip hop, the other thing I listened to was Prince.
Wow.
My brother mistakenly took me to see him at the Ritz in 1980 or 1981, the Dirty Mind album. I had never seen nothing like that. I had the first 2 albums already.
Wow.
And I was in. I was all the way in. I was like, he don't care about nobody. And I love that energy. And I'm like, nah, man, I ain't need no group. So he finally got me to go over. And I was a rapper before this. I don't know if I was any good, but I was a rapper. He took me over to Eric McCain's house. And it was like 8 of us. Touch started as like an 8-man Earth, Wind, and Fire group.
Wow.
Oh.
And it dwindled down to just us 4. Eric, myself, Gordon Williams, Commissioner Gordon, and Sean Barrow. And that's what you got with Touch, because the other ones drifted off or popped off or whatever. And that happened so quick, yo. It happened so quick. We recorded Without You. They met Timmy. They gave Timmy the tape. Timmy loved the tape. He gave it to a man who owned an independent label, Supertronics Records. It was us. Boy Jarvis used to do a lot of work over there. The Lean Brothers used to do a lot of work over there. Edwin Birdsong was like the A&R over there. Kenny Ortiz, who signed SWV, he started there. It was a hub. It was a launching pad for a lot of careers. And Frederick Pierre, he heard the song, loved it, signed us. We went in his studio, cut it. 3 weeks later, we were playing at the Paradise Garage.
Wow.
It happened that quick. Larry got it, played it from a reel. He didn't even have the acetate yet. He played it from a reel. Crowd went crazy. He said the first night he played it for like a half an hour. And then he played it again like 5 or 6 in the morning for another half an hour. And it just caught fire from there. And before we knew it.
Playing it from a reel in a club.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Larry used to do that. He used to literally mix in. I used to go up in the DJ booth at the Paradise Garage and watch him play for hours.
Wow.
So, yeah, Timmy Regisford, Larry Levan, Tony Humphreys. These are the guys that gave us unconditional support in the beginning.
What was your role then? Were you playing the
I was playing
bass?
keyboards. I
You
was
played
playing
the
keyboards.
keyboards.
Yeah, I was playing keyboards. Back then, I was probably the most advanced musician out of us four. But Eric wrote without you. That song was there when I joined the group. I replayed some of the keyboards and stuff, and that big piano intro with the solos and all that. That's me. And but yeah, that was Eric's baby. You know what I mean? So it was there, and then it just happened so quick. I mean, we're in Berlin. We're doing 4 shows a night in New York alone.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy because it literally, and Without You was probably the first house orientated record that went mainstream. It went like, you heard the drug dealers riding around in their car playing Without You, and we got blamed for changing the culture of the garage because first of all, if you had half a brain, you knew wherever the gay guys was partying, that's where the finest women were.
I was about to bring that up actually because obviously house music it boomed in by the late 90s in the UK with the drug scene and everything. It took off over here with rave and everything. But before that, when you had like the black house scene, I was going to say, was you in the Paradise with the gay crowd and the black crowd? Were they all mixing?
Absolutely.
They all mixed together, weren't it, really?
They babied us because we were young. We were so young. You got to remember, when Without You came out, man, we was 18, 19, 20, 21. We were babies. You know what I mean? So they kind of babied us. They kind of protected us. You know what I mean? And I think it was an incredible growth period for us because it taught us to be very secure on who we are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of my closest friends to this day are gay men. You know what I mean? And I learned really quickly that learned earlier than most that loving in any fashion, as long as it's love and not hurting nobody, and as long as the opposition of fear, it's a wonderful thing. I don't care who you love. You know what I mean? But I also had to ask people like, what would make you want to be with another hard-bodied, hairy-ass man? I just don't get it. And one of my friends said to me, clear as day, he was like, "Free, if you understood, you'd be gay." I was like, "You win. You absolutely win." You know what I mean? I'm like, what a profound answer, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm comfortable.
It sounded so quick with these guys getting you signed up and stuff. At this early stage, does anyone explain what you're signing?
Hell no.
You're getting Johnny Cochran to be your lawyer to look through the contracts.
Yo, let me explain something to you guys right now, and I want to say this for every aspiring artist, people who are artists, and you've probably heard a couple of people say this before. I have never received a royalty statement in my life for a Touch or an Entouch record.
Wow.
Not one. Not one. And now I got them from records I produced, but never one from them. I got sample clearances records all night because me and Eric wrote all those songs. And I never got one. When I got my publishing deal, I did a deal. I was a writer for EMI Publishing, which is Sony now, for like 7 years. They started backtracking money for me, because they wanted their money. But they didn't teach us nothing. We didn't know anything.
I mean, okay. So I think one of the things where every guest that comes on, they would I just interviewed the guys from Cameo. Well, they're not legally called Cameo, but they were everyone but Larry Blackman.
Yeah.
And back in the 70s, the same sort of thing. You sign, and that lesson never stopped. 70s, 80s, 90s, 60s.
And mind you, we had lawyers. Well, not with Touch one, but with the Entouch, there was a whole negotiation and everything. You know what I mean? But that was kind of status quo, I guess. I mean, I'm still cordial with Vincent Davis. the guy who owned Entertainment.
Ah, is that where Keith? Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
Keith
that's
Lee
us and Keith were there at the same time. That's how Keith ended up on All Night.
Yeah. It was okay.
He managed both of us, and we were both signed to his imprint, which was through Electric. And you know, what can I say about Vince? It was a love-hate relationship.
Before you get to that though, just on the Touch album, because I remember getting the Touch album a few years after I discovered Entouch, and it had a bit of a cult following, that album.
Yeah,
and
especially in Europe.
Especially in this country, the price that album went up and down a bit. You could be paying like, I don't know, in your money, $40 for it at the time.
Word?
Pound. You know, it kind of but you know,
I need someone to do some backtracking.
You know how many copies they pressed up of that album?
I have no idea.
Right.
And especially with an independent label,
yeah, that's
you didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then Fred disappeared at some point. You know, I started hearing all these stories about what a gangster this guy was. He never talked to us, raised his voice to us in no crazy way, and super supportive. I think he was figuring it out as he did it too, because none of us expected Without You to jump off like that. And then in other countries, Fixation jumped off like that, and then Fallen jumped off. You know what I mean? So it was a weird thing, and he didn't know how to have us out there to fully support it. You know what I mean? It was, but it was a learning experience, and I wouldn't change anything. Everything happens for a reason.
How did you guys go from Touch to Entouch? Why did the other two just drop out?
Well, Gordon never liked being a performer. He was always, engineer, behind the scenes guy. You know what I mean? It was fun for the first 6 months or so. You know what I mean? Girls and all that. But, it's not what he ultimately wanted to do. So he was like, I'm out. And Sean, I don't really remember, but me and Eric just started writing. And at this point, we would write every day. Like, we wrote the Entouch album in like maybe 3-4 months, then all of it. And there was so many more songs that didn't make the album. And then we got word. Timmy wanted us to sign to MCA. Because Timmy was the man over at MCA.
Yeah, that's right. No, yeah.
And word came from the street. I mean, street dudes was running up on me like, yo, the guy, Vincent Davis, he's like maybe from 3-4 miles away from me in the Bronx. The guy that got Keith Sweat. He did Joski Love, Pee Wee Herman. He was the first person to put out a record on Dougie Fresh. Like, he's part of the hip hop fabric. But his biggest success was Keith Sweat. And I guess after that was us. And, that's how Jackie got introduced to the world. And he's looking for y'all. He wants to talk to y'all about a deal. And at first we was like, we want to rock with Timmy. But then Timmy wanted to put us, the way it was explained to us, he wanted to put us in that whole New Jack Swing crew. Teddy can produce y'all. He would, that whole Gene Griffith, Teddy, blah da da, blah da da. And excuse my French, but me and Eric was like, fuck that. No. We're writers and producers. We were still figuring it out, but we knew what we did, and one of the reasons why Without You worked, because it didn't sound like anything. It was a hybrid. Like, you could hear the hip hop in us in Without You, even though it was a house record. You know what I mean? And quick footnote: a lot of people don't realize Eric was a rapper, a well-known rapper for years before records. He went the very first hip hop tour that ever went to England. What was her name? Lady Blue, and she brought over African Bambaataa and DXT and all that. Eric was a rapper for DST, the Infinity 4 rappers. His name was Godfather KC.
Wow.
Like, Eric is in the hip hop museum. He's there. He's on the wall. He doesn't talk about it much. I talk about it for him. But yeah, he so it was in us. It was very much in us. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was that. for what it's worth, and we ended up going with Vincent because he was like, "Oh no, y'all can write and produce all your own stuff."
Okay, but at this time though, because you signed a deal with to do Touch and Touch, but when you were doing Entouch,
Mm-hmm.
did you get a new set of lawyers, or he just says, yeah,
We
here's my...
didn't have lawyers with Touch. In Touch,
Okay,
we had lawyers,
okay.
but Vincent was slick. He actually started using our lawyer for stuff, well, other deals outside of us. So who knows what kind of conversations happened in that office? And now I know that was a complete conflict of interest on the lawyer's part, and whose name I ain't got no problem saying. He probably is dead by now anyway. Elliot Loshak. It's funny, I haven't thought of his name in years until this conversation. But yeah, Elliot Loshak, and yeah, Vincent Hyde. That was Vincent's thing. I had another friend that he was signing that I brought to the table, and I should still be apologizing to bringing him to the table. Vincent signed him and started dating his lawyer. I mean, she was bad. She was bad. But yeah, we in the studio recording. I'm like, what's homie's lawyer doing here? I see him canoodling in the corner. I'm like, yo, homie's game is on another level.
So Keith Sweat's "Make It Last Forever" was
It's
out.
already out and booming, and he was looking for the act to follow that.
To follow that, okay.
And that was us.
Okay. I mean, that was a global hit, but then he didn't think about, like, you guys were opposed to working with, say, Teddy, based on what he was doing with Keith. You just thought, no, we'll just do it.
It was like we didn't want the sound that everybody had. Like, if you listen to the Entouch album, I liken us more to Tony than New Jack Swing.
Yeah, there was a lot of that from
We weren't the accomplished musicians that they were, because all of them brothers virtuosos, all of them. You know what I mean? I played, but I wasn't playing on that level. You know what I mean? But I could write and produce with anybody. You know what I mean?
You did change your sound though from Touch to Entouch, because obviously you went from house to R&B. It did have elements of New Jack, big elements of funk in there, hip hop.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't.
We were
it
all
was
of
a
that.
unique sound. So what made you change? What was, why did you go more R&B?
Guess it was just how we felt at the time. We knew we had to have at least one house song on the label. I mean, on the album, which is Just a Touch of Love, who y'all put in the ad. That was dope, because I haven't heard that song in like years. So,
sounds great.
Yeah, Eric. Again, that was Eric. Eric did that one by himself. But we it was a natural growth, and like me and Eric were like both big Slave fans. We used to love Slave. We was also big hip hop guys. I was a big Prince guy, which you could hear clearly when you listen to Two Steps to the Right. I wrote that one.
I think your slow jams, the slow jams on both albums are very, they're mind blowing.
Yeah. Well, me and Eric was both. We both love ballads, and ballads got the girl. You know what I mean? Ballads got the girls. When we did Two Steps and Forever live on tour, like besides All Night and Too Hype, that was the peak of the show. My favorite up tempo on the Entouch album though is two. It's a tie. Crazy for You. I've always loved Crazy for You. And Scratch My Back. My two favorite songs from that album.
I think one of the things I'm hearing is how you've been giving Eric props. How did you guys, when you guys decided to go together as, okay, we'll do Entouch as a team? Was there a sort of an agreement with, okay, we do everything 50-50, or how did you have that kind of conversation, or was it just like...
This was, and what I'm about to tell you is absolutely 100% without embellishment, no sauce on it at all. Me and Eric have never had one argument, not one, in almost 40 years and 38 years. We have not had one argument. Me and him have always been able to always discuss the middle ground like real easy. Because both of us are I'm very non-confrontational until I'm not. And then when I'm not, it's usually on 100. You know what I mean? But if I could avoid it, I absolutely do. And so he's the same way. Eric's a Libra, very laid back, very smooth, very zen, Buddha. You know, he meditates, it's incense. You know, that's this Eric's vibe. He's very much like his father, and his father was one of the most amazing men I ever met. And yeah, we never had a problem, man. It was like, okay, if you did this song, Free, you wrote this one. You know what I mean? Like Eric wrote Forever by himself. I wrote Two Steps to the Right by myself. You know what I mean? And it was never, yo, let me get a piece of that. You did the shit, you did it. You know what I mean? And everything else on the album, besides just the Touch of Love, we did together. You know what I mean?
Was there an understanding about publishing and split? Did you know about all that stuff, or are you just two young guys who love music and just creating music and not even thinking
we
about?
love music, but we learned during the Entouch album because Vincent asked for half our publishing and we didn't know. We thought that was, well, it was kind of standing in 88. You know what I mean? People were giving up half their publishing, you know? Some people that on Uptown was giving up all their publishing, and I didn't even know that shit was possible.
No, but how did he say? Did he say here's
he asked for it in the
10,000?
contract? Oh no, we got money up front. He asked us how much money you want. We should have asked for way more. I'll leave it right there.
Oh goodness! You know what scares me is the fact that it's like Sony asked for half of Michael's TMV. For I think they bought it for almost 250 million.
Yeah.
So there was a sense where he understood the value, and so they had to go as high. But I guess Tabitha from Cut Close, she mentioned that they had to sell their publishing for $1.
Well, yeah, this makes total sense. Let's put the dots together. Who signed Keith? Vincent Davis. He learned his practices from Vincent. Now, Vincent would have asked me to sign my publishing for $1. At that point, I would have kicked him down a flight of steps. Even if I didn't understand the true value, I knew $1 was an insult to everything every fiber of who I am. You know what I mean? Well,
Yeah, I think the difference with you guys as creators, people like Vincent or Gene can spot talent like they did with Teddy, and it was like, okay, I know that we can make more money with you, so we'll give you a little bit, make you feel as if you got a lot more. I've only seen Vincent by name on Keith's Make It Last Forever album. What was he like? Was he like? I don't hear stories like we have Gene Griffin or Dick.
No,
Griffin.
Vincent wasn't no tough gangster.
Okay.
He liked gangster movies. He made fancy himself to have a gangster-ish energy. But at no point in my life, I don't know anybody who was afraid, of their safety because of Vincent Davis. Okay, however, we actually became really good friends. Oh. And Vincent was a lot like me. He was very gangster adjacent. You know what I mean? He was maybe a degree or two away, but he wasn't. I mean, he came from an amazing family. His mother was amazing. His father's amazing. You know what I mean? He came from an amazing family. So, he had a good foundation. But I was never worried about, God, if I don't do this, Vincent's gonna hurt. No. Yeah, back in them days, if one of us was going to back out, it would have been me. You know what I mean? I would have been the one, cocking my gun first back then. So, but it wasn't. I got to give him credit for some things. Okay. Because I'm sure he's going to hear about this. I ain't scared now either. But fair is fair. I would not be the producer I am without Vincent Davis. Okay, he would just put me in the studio for months. And this is after Entouch broke up. This is after, because I guess we should talk about that before I just jump.
No, we'll always go back. So go
I
ahead.
want to talk about the album first.
Yeah, we can, but you can do that, and we can always go back because that's
Vincent,
fine.
yeah, we'll go back. We'll go back. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Vincent would put me in the studio for months, and I had a whole nother group after Entouch called GHP Group Home Productions. With I took one of the guys from Whistle, the lead singer of Whistle Jazz.
Wow.
Y'all remember Whistle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I took him, and he actually became my production partner at the time. And there used to be a group called Pure Blend. Every nice and smooth record you ever heard with all the singing on it was that group. I got the lead singer from there, Will, who actually co-wrote and co-produced No Diggity with Teddy.
Will Tricky Stewart?
No, not Will Tricky Stewart. His name was Will Stewart, but we used to call him Will Skills.
Will Skills.
Yeah, but if you check No Diggity, he's the one who did the beat, and then Teddy was like, because that was originally a GHP beat. He was doing that for us. But when that situation went bad, he went down to Virginia and started messing with Teddy, and that's how that happened.
Okay.
So all these connections, isn't there? With all these connections.
Yo, the degrees of separation are so small, man.
Yeah, man.
They're so small. Well, okay, let's go back to the album. We'll go back to studios.
I just want to talk about obviously the big singles. Too High and Crazy for You, the creations of those, because I know you've got a cult New Jack following, and I don't know how you feel about being labeled New Jack, but you do have a cult. Fans of New Jack Swing love Entouch.
Do like Entouch, absolutely.
Yeah,
but again, the elements were there. I mean, New Jack elements were there, but we wasn't trying to use drum sounds that sounded like Teddy. You know what I mean? I mean, if you really think about it, Too Hype was the predecessor to Poison.
Mm-hmm.
There had never been a record that hard, beat-wise, until Too Hype. That's how come it hit like that. And I think Mike Biv and them heard that and was like, ah. Well, actually, people have told me that's what happened. They heard that and was like, ah. And, God bless them. I'm mad that we didn't come up with Poison. You know what I mean? But, yeah, it was the first record of its kind. Teddy had hip-hop elements. We went full throttle and just sung over a beat with a bass on. There's not one chord, not one, in Too Hype. None. And everybody thinks like all the drums are samples. They're not. That's Pumpkin, King of the Beats, the first super producer ever in hip-hop. Produced all them old Enjoy records, Spoonie G, Treacherous 3, and all that. He produced all of those. And he was a drummer also from near our neighborhood in the Bronx, lived next door to Vincent. And he came in the studio and just played over hip-hop beats for us. And we chopped it up, sampled, put it in there. So, yeah. But I got to give total credit for the track for Too Hype. That was Eric. That was Eric's vision. I wrote it. I wrote the lyrics and the melody. But that beat, that's Eric all day.
Stonewall classic. Just Stonewall. Yeah. Just
it doesn't die, man. It doesn't die. It keeps coming back.
What about the singing though? I mean, I don't know, was Eric always going to be the main singer?
Yeah, I can hold a note, but I'm no singer. I'm very clear about who I am. I know when I'm dope at, and I know when I'm not dope at. I can stack a harmony, and I can produce a hell out of a vocal. But I am no singer. I think God did that to me on purpose, because if I could sing, I would probably be the most arrogant. He's like, look, you're not getting this. He said, I got to take something from you, because instruments always came to me so easy. And I've heard music in my head constantly since I can remember, since I was 3 years old. You know what I mean? So it's like, I can't do that. Well, I don't need to do it now. I could tell an AI person how I want it to sing.
The fact that it was just the two of you, aesthetically, that wasn't quite common when it came to groups. And did you feel
it was an issue in the beginning too?
Okay, why do you say that?
I think when Vincent signed us, that's when Bob was still running. Bob Krasnow was still running Electric. I think he was like, and then I was a big guy. Eric was super slim. He was light skin.
Yeah.
I was kind of light skinned. You know what I mean? So it was like, but we knew that we would stand out. I mean, I heard all the jokes, the Abbott and Costello of R&B. heard all that shit. But nah, it was, we just knew with us two is how it ended. I think one of our biggest mistakes is adding a third person for the second album. We fell under the pressure that it'll be a better balance. You know what I mean? And not that there's any problem. I love Quentin Rubin. He's an amazing guitar player. Like, amazing. He's out here killing it in Ohio, I believe, right now. But we probably should have kept it us too. We was letting too many people in our ears. You know what I mean? Because it changed the sound on the second album. You know what I mean? It made us more conventional, because you can say what you want about the first Entouch album. It's not very conventional. You know what I mean? From the arrangements to the drum sounds. I mean, and Eric could sing, but he wasn't Aaron Hall. Eric wasn't no riffer. And I think that's one of the things that worked for us. You heard the lyric, you heard the melody, and his tone didn't sound like nobody else. And that's one of the things that made Too Hype work, because everybody thought they could sing the shit.
Yeah.
It sound like Eric. Same thing with Without You. Everybody felt like they could sing it and sound like Eric. You know what I mean? So it's like our weaknesses became our strengths.
You did do a couple of, like, I'm just going on YouTube and watching the Apollo live performances that you did. So when the album came out, what in terms of like promotion, getting out there and try to promote the album,
we did everything. We did everything. We did Soul Train. We did the full gambit of what was out there. You know what I mean? We did a promo tour. We did tours. We did lots of.
Was this an exciting time for you, or was it draining? I don't know. Was it something you wanted to do?
I love being on stage.
Okay.
I was really good on stage. You know what I mean? And I was always the big guy that was able to do shit that he wasn't supposed to be able to do.
With like Heavy D type of dancing or what?
Yeah, even to the I loved when us and Heavy had shows together, because it was kind of like the non-spoken competition of the dancing. Only difference was that I could always jump really high. You know what I mean? I could always jump really high, and I was always super flexible back then. I'll be 60 next March. Wow. There ain't as much flexing back now. Not next month, next year.
Apollo performance. I've seen you on YouTube.
That was crazy.
It's iconic. You just look at the energy that you put in, and the crowd were going wild. And
see, but y'all got to understand, Too Hype was Harlem's anthem. We were the only record on the radio that was killing shit that wasn't produced by Teddy Riley. Because he owned it. Teddy owned it. You know what I mean? And then somewhere in between it all, Too Hype fell in there, and it didn't sound like nothing. Like, I would see people with Too Hype on the side of their cars, walk down 125th Street. They had the big backdrops. I'm sure y'all saw them pictures that used to happen on 42nd Street in Harlem back in the days. But whatever was hot at the time would be the backdrop. It would say Too Hype. I saw one that had like the Too Hype album cover, people taking pictures in front of it. So, it was weird. It was weird. It was enjoyable because it's what we always wanted. Like, all I wanted to do was I wanted to be on Soul Train, and I wanted to be in Right On magazine.
Right On, not even Black Beat. Right On.
Yeah, Right On. So when we did our first interview with Cynthia Horner, I was like, oh, I'm good.
People do talk about being on Soul Train. That's when that's when you've made it, because everyone watches Saturday Soul Train. And so, yeah.
I will never forget my mother. We were doing a show in Denver or something when it aired. And it was like me and Eric flew to Denver, but the tour bus was meeting us there because it wasn't a live date. We were doing tracks, and we were hosting like this big radio concert. And the next morning, when I stopped to call my mom, she was like, if my goddamn phone don't stop ringing. And what are you talking about? She was like, you know, your Soul Train came on yesterday, right? And you know, the people you grew up with and the area you came up at, you know, they like, you know, he was like, yo, that's free. And for Eric, it was like, yo, that's Eric. You know what I mean? And you gotta remember the area that Eric grew up in, Mount Vernon. Albie Shaw lived directly across the street from me.
You kidding me? Wow.
No, I mean like all of 20 steps. Lived across the street from him. Who else had done it? Misa Hilton lived across the street from him on the other side.
Wow.
Puffy lived like 5 blocks that way. Heavy lived that way. Eddie F lived that way. Pete Rock lived that way. Where I was, I've been friends with Christopher Williams since kindergarten. We went to every stage of school together. That's how long me and him been friends.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
did you know Ginny Love then?
Yes. Me and Jimmy Love both went to Truman High School. I know Jimmy since I was in 9th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade.
Wow.
It's like a whole scene of people just growing up together and just, you know,
and we all did it. And then when you think about it, Swiss Beats, he's younger than us, but he was from there too. He was from Boston Road Valley. He went to Truman High School.
Wow.
You know, all of us, it's a small degree of separation.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned the Soul Train. I think today's generation probably won't understand the significance of being on Soul Train with Don Cornelius because it was everyone watched Soul Train Saturday, and it's like, okay, you've made it. I mean, the Apollo is okay; it's one thing, especially, but Soul Train was the national stuff. Was that when you both the families felt that you guys have made it when they saw you on that, or was there anything else?
I think for me, for my mom, it was her sitting watching her son do his high kick and spins on stage at Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
I think that really cemented it for mine. I'm not sure which part it was for Barb, Eric's mom, who was also like another mom. You know what I mean? We spent so much time in each other's houses. So yeah, man, it was but Soul Train was special. I have a great Soul Train story if you want.
Go ahead.
Of course. Okay, so you know, first of all, I was pissed off at Soul Train because they bought you a 2-piece of Kentucky Fried Chicken to the artist. I was like, Don he ain't splurging on shit, huh? So we're in there getting ready, you know, the barber's in there shaping up our hair or whatever. And I'm tying down my shoe. And this foot steps in front of me. Large foot with the most beautiful shine on the shoe I ever seen in my life. And as I look up a little further, the pant leg broke perfectly on the shoe. It was almost like it was drawn. And then it goes up. You start smelling something, and the smell is like fucking euphoric. And then you keep going up, and you're seeing like the best of fabrics. And then you go up a little more, and you see this perfectly manicured beard. I've never seen a beard like that before it or since. And I look up again, and then you just hear this booming voice that fills the whole room and goes, I love what you young brothers are doing. I'm very proud of you. You're representing well. And he knew our album, and he knew 2 Steps to the Right. He knew Forever, and he appreciated them as ballads. It's Barry White.
Wow.
I was in awe.
Wow.
I've only locked up. There's only 3 people that made me lock up in my life when I met him. Barry White, Prince, and I had already did work for Prince. I just hadn't met him yet. And when I met him, I couldn't talk. It was crazy. And who was Rakim. I still can't speak to Rakim to this day. Rakim is my all-time favorite MC, hands down. It's him, and then you know how people feel about Michael Jordan? I'm not one of them, but you know how people feel about Michael Jordan? It's him, and then you start doing a count. That's how I feel about Rakim. There is no Nas without Rakim. There is no Jay-Z without no Rakim. There's no Cool G Rap without Rakim. There's no Eminem without Rakim. Is none of the people that we consider amazing lyricists are great MCs, not rappers, but MCs are that without Rakim. Been in the room with him at least 20 times. Couldn't conjure up to even say what's up.
I got to see him this year at that Rock the Bells festival. Just when he walked on the stage, he didn't need to even open his mouth for me. Yeah. Just the way he walked on the stage.
His aura.
Yeah, exactly. That's
he
it.
has that aura. He has that Prince aura. That D'Angelo had it, but D'Angelo was this humble as hell. So I mean, I guess Rakim is too. But D'Angelo, it was nothing more than about the music for him. You know what I mean? I ain't like we were close friends, but every time I got to be around him, it was always the discussions for music. You know, blah, blah, blah. What drum sounds? Where'd y'all get that snare for Too Hype? You know what I mean? That was the conversation. So, you know, it's good. But yeah, those are the 3 times I locked up.
What was it like when you first met Prince? You said, because I know you started off by talking about Prince.
Yeah. Oh, that was
finally met him.
Well, I finally met him. I think I had spoken to him on the phone before I met him. And this is all big shout to Dougie Fresh. We've been friends again.
Oh, yeah, he's good friends with Dougie Fresh. Yeah. Good friend.
And Dougie's manager was my music teacher in Truman High School. A guy named Dennis Bell. Shout to Dennis. He's still alive and kicking, but he was a mentor to a lot of us. And so that's how long I've known Dougie. Like from there. So Dougie got real cool with Prince. Dougie knew what a Prince fan I was, because me and him used to have Michael Jackson Prince talks before any of this. I was like, yo, I wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for Michael, but I connect to Prince on a different level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Prince was able to walk into a studio by himself and leave with an album. Michael could never do that. You know what I mean? So that was the thing that set, but I'm also a musician, so I get it. You know, it hits me a little different that he had the capabilities of doing it. Anyway, he got cool with him. He started touring with him. I got to kind of be around him some before I did any work. Because of Dougie. Dougie made sure that he, come to the after party. So, maybe a quick head nod or whatever. But when I really got to meet him for the first time, it was me, Commissioner Gordon. He was on the road with Lauryn Hill. He was doing her sound. So I happened to just be walking down 34th Street and I see Gordon. I'm like, yo, what you doing? He's like, oh, Lauren's playing tonight. I'm like, word. And now, mind you, I had already worked on one of Prince's remixes. And another thing that's right there with the Garden for me thing, I played guitar on the remix and he kept my guitar tracks.
Wow.
Which
remix was this?
Come On, from the new Power Soul album.
Yeah, I did like that. Okay.
So it and like I took his whole hook and rearranged it and all that. And from what I understood, he gave the same to him to like Q-Tip, Pharrell, blah blah blah, and Dougie, and he only kept ours. That's the rumor. I can't confirm, but that's the rumor. Anyway, he kept my guitar tracks. He didn't mind the way I rearranged his whole hook and all that. So it was a thing. So I already did that. But we're at the Garden. I'm walking. I see Gordon. He's like, "No, come in." And then I see my man Rock, also known as Sticky from Sticky in the Hood. So you're familiar? Shake what your mama gave you. That's him. And he's every Scream record you ever heard that's not Fat Man School is Sticky. So I see him. I was like, "Come on, come in." I was like, "I'll bring him." He said, "Yeah." So we're watching the whole show from the sound booth, right? So we're chilling. It's just us in there. It's Gordon. Maybe he has one assistant, me and Rock, and Sticky. And then I see people start like a murmur coming. Outkast is on stage. I hear a murmur coming. And then first I see Dougie. I'm like, yo. He's like, what up? But he keep walking because he's with a train of people. Then I see Londell McMillan right behind Dougie. Nod, whatever. I knew Londell a little bit. And then behind that, I see Prince's bodyguard. I didn't know it was Prince's bodyguard yet. And Prince doesn't go with him. He cuts into the sound booth. And behind, it was him. He was with Nite at the time. So it's him and Nite come in. And his bodyguard, who I met and got kind of cool with later, Aaron, he comes in. And then Spike Lee is with him too, but he wouldn't let Spike Lee in the sound booth. He was hot. I guess he wanted to sat with Dougie and Londell on him. So I'm like, and Rock is one of them people, especially if he had a couple of drinks, he don't give a fuck who you are. You know what I mean? Let's chop it up. Let's laugh. He's the life of the party type of guy. So as the content's going on, Prince and Rock, they acted like they went to high school together or something. Prince is sitting up on the wall. Well, no, he lifts Nite up and puts it on the wall, and he's sitting on this other like calzone case. I'm moving closer to I'm not going nowhere near there. Already got my check and everything, and he paid us incredibly. And I'm like, nope, can't do it. I was frozen, man. It was like someone had a gun on me. I may have reacted better if somebody had a gun on me. So at some point, I mean, they cracking jokes on different things in the show and everything. And I'm standing there like, nope, I'm just going to stand here and mind my business. At some point, Rock, a.k.a. Sticky, comes over to me and goes, yo, Prince said, are you mad at him? I guess he knew who I was already.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I guess Dougie was like, yo, that's free in the booth or whatever. And he was like, he said, you mad at him? He's like, did you not get your check or something? And I'm like, no, I just, that be careful of meeting your idols. That whole thing. And I also, as an addendum to this, a prefix, I got to tell y'all both, I just started feeling like I'm dope. Maybe in the last 4 or 5 years. I felt like I tricked the whole world. I felt it was imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. I am the classic case of imposter. I've seen like Questlove talk about that. Mm-hmm. I was like, how the hell did I pull this off? How am I doing this for a living? Mm-hmm. How did I end up being on Soul Train? How did I end up playing the Guardian? You know what I mean? How did I end up with that girl? It was like imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. And I'm in my 50s before I started going, like, bro, you dope. You're really good at what you do. Mm-hmm. And not in an arrogant way, but freak the 10,000 hours, I probably got 50. You know what I mean? So that's part of why I would react the way I did. This for a backdrop. And finally, Rock was like, yo, man, go talk to him. What's wrong with you? So I walk over and he hops down off the thing and he hugs me. And I didn't feel, he's small. And
you're big, yeah.
I'm big. And back then I was bigger. Like I just lost like 74 pounds. So back then I was big. I was like 350. You know what I mean? So he goes in to do the hook, and I felt like I was a universe that just engulfed me. like y'all seen the Fantastic Four movie? The way Galactus would just absorb the planet. I felt like I was Galactus and he was Pluto or some shit. It was crazy. Like I lost him in my coat for a second, and then he come out, and the only thing I could muster out my mouth was, thank you. Thank you. You're the one who, like a lot of this I do, and Minneapolis was, Too Hype was gigantic. The Entouch album was gigantic in Minneapolis. Mm-hmm. So he knew who he was, and he seen us perform on like Paradise 24 in LA and shit like that. But he knew some of the background, but it was this, and then he was like, I need more of what you did. It never got to happen, but he was like, we need more of what you did. It got to happen a little bit, but you know what I mean? He really appreciated what we did on that remix, and I will forever. If Dougie calls me and like, yo, bro, come cut my lawn, I'm like, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I need my sneakers clean. I am on my way, and I got a new formula. Don't worry about it. Because Mr. Dougie Fresh alone did that for me.
Wow.
Some experience that. Really.
Yeah.
Experience.
Yeah.
But he wasn't just short. He was like, his shoulders was like so small. And but think about that. How this man had the energy that changed any room he walked in. He was probably the most self-assured human being I ever met in my life.
Wow.
I've never, and I'm not saying cocky, but self-assured. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of, and not many people do what I do.
I think
I'm starting to get there now.
I think one of the things that you hear about people like Michael and Prince is that they knew everybody. In order to stay on top, you got to know that you. So yeah,
that shocks you when you meet somebody you watched all your life and they know who you are. That was like when Larry Levan turned around. It's like, oh, the Touch babies are here, and I was like, Larry knows who we are. But of course, he was the first person to play the record, and I think Tony Humphries was the first person to play it on the radio, and then Red Alert turned around and played it. You know what I mean? And for hip hop, and you gotta understand at that point, Red was Funkmaster Flex. He ran New York hip hop wise. For him to play Without You changed everything.
Just with Too Hype, because I know some of us might. If I had Too Hype, I go to Kid and Play.
Yeah, but
what
me and Kid used to joke about that.
Okay, go ahead. What was the whole story about?
I mean, I wasn't aware that Too Hype when I wrote Too Hype.
Did they come out first with it before you guys?
I think it was almost close, and ours kind of eclipsed theirs. But you know, they had a movie, and we got it. But me and Kid used to joke about that. Like I used to hang out with Kid a little bit. Me, him, and Tuffy. We used to hang out back in the day, and you know, we run into each other in LA or whatever, and hang out, get drunk. Another Prince story with Kid. Prince played the Palladium when the Palladium was in New York. I can't remember what album. Oh, it was the Gold album, the Gold Experience. And Ralph McDaniels, I'm sure you both heard of Video Music Box. Y'all should definitely interview Ralph. He is the key master of hip hop. You know the key master in Matrix? There's not a documentary made. There's not a visual you see about hip hop with one of his clips or not. Because, you know, he's 40 years old. He has everything. He has a birthday party of mine that I still haven't seen. So he's like the Library of Congress of hip hop. That is Ralph McDaniels. Anyway, he got me passes. So I took my brother with me. And then afterwards, he had a private party in the Todd Terry room. I mean, not the Todd Terry room. It's the Todd something room. I can't remember the name. And I go in there and Kid's in there. So me and Kid start drinking. So we're watching everything that goes down. It's me, Kid, my brother, Melvin Rowley, the lead singer, Ready for the World.
Yeah.
And this chick that I think I used to mess with. I couldn't remember if I used to mess with her or not. But I'm watching in there and I'm like, well, shit, maybe you can start now. I couldn't remember. But, you know, those were them days. Anyway, Prince comes in and Nona Gay is there. Who, to me, to this day, one of the most beautiful women who ever stepped foot on the planet, period. I think she's breathtaking. She's there. So me and Kid are looking at her, and then in the corner of the room, because it's like a little club in the club, and Big Cat, hip-hop legend, is DJing. I'm seeing he has like a little oasis in the corner of the room, like, you know, a big couch bed with all kind of veils and candles. And so he comes in, and when he comes in, first he walks in by himself, then he walks back out and comes back in with Nite. And then Nona comes in, he comes out, dances with Nona, and then goes back into the Casbah with Nite, and they don't let Nona in. Like I've seen, what's my man from Living Color? Vernon Reed, that's his name? Master guitar player. Anyway, not the show Living Color, the rock band.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's there too. I've seen him talk about this story online. We sat there and watched that whole emotion because I guess supposedly he was engaged to Nona, but then he was engaged to Maite at the same time.
Wow.
And he just left Nona outside the Casbah and he's in there with her. After he just came out to dance with her, I would say, yo, this is some pimp shit on another level. I'm like, if people actually had the nerve to think this man was gay, oh my
God. Oh, goodness. No. When you think back at your debut album, do you think that MCA might have handled it better? Because
yes,
they okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vincent was a bit of a control freak. He was a control freak. Like we would finish a mix of a record and then we'd come back next day and it's different. Like, what happened to the mix? So Vincent told us to change this. He called us like, and my biggest argument with Vincent was like, you can never tell me about if a beat is hot or not because you can't dance. How can you tell me what work on the dance floor and you because he couldn't dance? I mean, he had the rhythm of a one-legged Irishman. Like, it's crazy. You know? I'm insulting the Irish people because they're nice with the river dance. So, like, he is the rhythmless child. And he was like, well, no, the beat need to do this. I used to be like, and he would, like, move a kick somewhere that would make it awkward, but he think it worked. I'm like, because you have no rhythm, bro. What are you doing? And that we used to have big arguments. Like, at one point, Eric just stopped coming to the studio. He was like, what am I coming for? He's going to change it after we leave anyway. But, you know, there was food budgets and bottles of tequila. I was there.
Tell us about the track All Night with Keith Sweat, because I know the viewers that are asking about that track this evening.
Oh, it's a remix. It was a remix. He's on the remix of Without You. I mean, excuse me, All Night. He liked the song. He always liked the song. So I guess he told Vincent, and we all went into Unique Studios. Anybody who made records during that period, we all lived between Quad and Unique Studios. He came in. He knocked that joint out in like 20 minutes.
Wow.
You know? Me and Keith was never very wordy. You know, what up, bro? How you? How's your mom? Blah, 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 da, da, da. Eric and Keith had a close. Like, you know, Eric wrote and produced Twisted. Keith.
Yeah, so he did some stuff with Cut Close. Yeah,
and Cut Close too. But yeah, Eric gave Keith his biggest hit of his career. Twisted is his biggest single ever. But
massive.
Yeah, but yeah, like we would never hang out buddies. You know what I mean? I don't know if it was a Bronx Harlem clash or, you know, I wasn't into people that had certain energies. And I'm one of the people, you say something crazy to me, I'm a Pisces. I'm real sensitive. I will punch you in your mouth. So to avoid that, I would just kind of be like, yo, what's up? Blah, 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 keep it moving. Still do it to this day. See him somewhere, what up, Keith? You good? Blah, blah, blah. That kid's good. You know, no disrespect, but we was just, you don't click with everybody. And me and Keith, we never really clicked. Now, his crew, Denny Moe, all of them, family. Love them to death. Jackie is my sister. I would do anything. I'd take somebody's head off for Jackie. As a matter of fact, I need to get on one of these house joints. We've been talking about it for the past year. But I think she would do real good in that genre. But yeah, we just, but he came, he did the song, it helped. We did the video, you know what I mean? It helped. We did that video, I think it was the night before we played the Garden. That was a crazy week. Underneath the West Side Highway on 96th Street. You know, and yeah, it was, you know, it was, you don't realize that shit in real time. When you look back, like I still have some of my schedule books and stuff from back then, and I'm looking back like, yo, I could never do all this now. You know, I'm in the midst of packing up my house because we're about to move. I'm moving to Nashville.
Wow.
From New York. But Nashville's been my second home for like 20 years. I have extended family. My second mom lives down there. You know, my extended family, my little brother. You know, like I got a lot of love in Nashville. And I lived there for 12 years at one point and then moved back home. But yeah, I'm done, man. I'm New Yorked out.
Okay. Why do you think MCA could have done a better job than?
The machine was bigger,
Okay.
and they were killing everything at that point. You gotta remember that any heartbreak shit this happened.
Yeah.
Um,
That
Guy,
that guy.
Mary. You know, one of my
Yeah.
biggest regrets is not signing the MCA because I really believe we took the path we were supposed to take. But Puff, I came home one day and my mother was like, some boy named Puffy keep calling this house. I'm like, oh, Puff? I'm like, I don't know if I give a Puff my number. I give my number. And he called and wanted me, he was like, yo. And I finally got him on the phone. He was like, yo, I need one of them 2 hype joints, man. For Mary. It was Mary. We just signed this girl from Yonkers named Mary. And I already met her because I was at the Father MC video shoot for his first single. And she was singing on it.
Okay.
And I met her
Good
there.
for you.
Yeah. And he was like, yo, come on. I need one of them 2 hype joints. Come on, Free. I know you got one. Give me one of them. And I was in the middle of producing Whistle's last album. And they were giving me like 10, 15 grand a song. And he talked about, yo, the budget's pretty tight. Nah, homie. And I had like 4 songs. I had like 4 songs on the Whistle album. I should have did one of them songs on that album. Because that first album, you know what I mean? But you live and you learn that it ain't always about the money.
Okay. So I mean, when it came to the second album, and you're feeling pressured into making it a trio instead of just the 2 of you. Did it change the dynamics, or did you see any benefit of having the 3 of you, or did you just think that?
Hold on it. Why did it become a trio? That's what we need to know.
Quentin, the third person we added, was our guitar player on tour. And there was a chemistry between us 3, no doubt about it. And people liked the way us 3 looked together. It was easy, and you know, in the marketing department, it's easier. It's easier than just a duel. You know what I mean? So we was like, all right, let's give it a shot. He could sing. I liked his voice, and he's a guitar player. So it kind of worked out until it didn't. You know, it was a horrible crashing. How that ended, and I'm not going to talk about it on here. You know.
Can you talk about? All right. Can you talk about some of the tracks on the album? Because I love the album. I love the album cover. I love obviously the single.
I hated that. I hated that album cover. My face looked that big. I looked like I took a pumpkin pie and just put my nose on it.
Oh, it weren't that bad.
I hated that. I was like, why did they pick this picture?
The single "Drop Dead Gorgeous"? And where did you shoot that video?
In London. We're in London. We're at. I can't remember the name of the castle. It was the castle that they filmed the first Batman in. And yeah, it was Bruce Wayne's house in the first Batman, the one with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. So yeah, that we did it at that castle. It was a good time too. Yeah, I've always liked London. You know, my daughter DJs out there a lot now. So, you know, I kind of relive it a little bit, watching her experience it. You know, even though London done got full gangster all of a sudden. But, but yeah, we filmed that in London. And I love Drop Dead Gorgeous. There's a kick in there I hate, but that's a very personal thing. That was a Vincent Davis thing.
It sounded like a heavily P-Funk influence, that track.
It was a P-Funk meets New Jack. That was the whole
very unique sounding. Yeah.
But that's how we heard shit. We heard it in a very unique way. And then the more we did it, the more we was able to facilitate it. You know what I mean? It takes a while to really learn how to get it from here to here. I'm sorry, there's a keyboard here. You know what I mean? There's it takes a minute for it to get there. But once it gets there, you know, we prided ourselves on being different. You know, and there's a ballad on that second album, Till Eternity, and In Love We Trust. I love both of those ballads so much.
For me, it's Don't It Feel Good.
That's your joint. Don't it feel good? That's
Don't It
Eric.
Feel Good, and She Used to Be My Girl. They're the ones that
Quentin. Damn, I didn't realize we had 4 ballads on that album. Damn.
You need to go back and listen to them records.
Eric wrote Don't It Feel Good. I think I wrote some of it. And Quentin wrote She Used to Be My Girl. Quentin brought that to the table. That was
I think the ballads you're talking about have got more of a churchy gospel feel to them.
Yeah, I like that. I like that emotion. That, you know, Till Eternity is just really pretty. It's just a real pretty arrangement. Again, in a Princey fashion. And so was In Love We Trust. In Love We Trust is very, and we had like so many people singing on that. The backgrounds, that's how we got like CeCe Rogers, House of Legend is singing on that. Is Jackie me? I can't remember. Jackie sang on Just a Little Bit of Love. That's Jackie doing the backgrounds, on the girl backgrounds. It's Jackie and Jenny Douglas.
The rest, I'm just talking about the rest of the up tempos on the second album. They felt a bit.
It was weird.
It felt a bit overproduced to me.
Absolutely.
Like, too much going on
that was the Vincent. That was the Vincent thing. That was the Vincent thing. Doing too much. My favorite up tempo on that album, well, Drop Dead Gorgeous I always loved. Kick 'Em to the Curb. That was my favorite song on that album. I felt like that should have been the first single because it connected to Too Hype. You know, the whole energy of the song. But they picked Drop Dead Gorgeous, so we went with it, which still had a real hip-hop bottom, but it was way more musical. I mean, there's a full-blown guitar solo on Drop Dead Gorgeous. You know what I mean? But
there's a track on there. Which was the track that you was doing a bit of rapping on, or you was leading?
E.T.'s in the House.
That's it.
E.T.'s
Again, a
in the
bit
house.
of P-Funk here. There's a bit of P-Funk with the...
Exactly. Like I'm rapping, but I'm not rapping. And, you know, that song was just a goof. Like I was producing something. That's when Vincent started putting me in the studio by myself. And he put me in other studios. And Eric was doing producing and stuff. And we had a full-blown studio. Like we had a 24-track in Eric's house.
Wow.
So at that point, we didn't have to go to a studio to record. We just went to mix. We had a full-blown studio, full ICM board, everything in Eric's house. So that's where we recorded. So he would be doing stuff. I would be doing stuff. And then there was a little fallout. And we was getting ready to get back together and put another third person. Then we was like, nah, let's just leave it with us. And then from there, he started producing other acts. I started producing other acts. I started like playing keys on I played keys on X-Clan albums, Nice and Smooth albums. Like I was doing a lot of outside stuff. I was producing Whistle. I was producing other people. There was a lot of things going on there.
Which Whistle was it? Was the Whistle album with I Am on it?
I Am.
That's you go. Me. That's a massive track, massive swing track.
I wrote and produced that. I Am. That's me. With co-production by Chill Will from the Get Fresh crew. He did the drums on it.
That was an absolute banging swing track, that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, I did 4 songs in that album. I did that, Show You, Mr. I Love Your Daughter. I did 3 of them.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Which feels a lot like Forever in retrospect. But yeah. So, you know, we was getting into our own things. And from that split, which leads us back to Vincent Davis, put me in the studio for like months at a time. And I put
the label you've just dropped like you dropped Dead Gorgeous, and then there was the ballad.
There was a something bad happened. We're gonna leave it there.
So how long did that last? How long did it actually last? The 3 of you together during that album period?
Maybe we recorded it. That was like, you know. And I had my first son join the recording of that album. So, you know, they're like, Free, you need to get back to the studio. I'm like, y'all realize I have my own little human? I'll get there. You know what I mean? But I'm chilling. And so it took a minute to record, and we mixed Forever. The great Bobby Wooten mixed the album for us. And, you know, he was in a conundrum because we would leave it one way and then Vincent would come in and just do something crazy. And, you know, and my argument was, you can't dance. How am I supposed to trust you about a beat? Yeah, so, you know, one down. Drop Dead Gorgeous came out. We was getting great TV play, you know, E.T. and all that. It was getting no buzz. And She Used to Be My Girl was going to be the next single. Me and Eric didn't want that to be the next single. We felt like it was going to a ballad too quick. But I think they were trying to make up for it because they know they should have made Forever or Two Steps to the Right a single from the first album. And they didn't. That probably would have took the album to platinum. If they would have released either one of those albums. Anyway, they didn't. And some, you know, a bad situation happened. And that was kind of it. You know, Eric kept doing what he was doing. Never no argument. Nothing. Supporting what each other was doing. Vincent signed this guy named Romeo N.
I was about to ask you about him. Tell us about that dude. Because again, that sounded another like an Entouch offshoot. That to me.
Well, his first single For You was going to be an Entouch record.
Yeah,
that was going to be an Entouch record.
Yeah.
Like you could hear it clearly. It was going to be an Entouch record. And Eric wrote that one. But by that point, Eric knew how to write just like me, and I knew how to do tracks just like him. You know what I mean? He knew my cadences. He knew words that I would use, like "Mrs. Me" and stuff like that, with little phrases that would. So he wrote it, and you know, the In Touch vibe was the tracks he would piece together that I would play on later, and I would write to. That was the In Touch sound, and he did it with For You. I loved For You. I was so mad we didn't get to put that record out. That record was so dope, and I don't know what happened that it didn't work. But Eric produced half that album, and I produced half that album. Like I did Sex You. I did Sex You on that album. I did I can't remember the titles. But Eric did like 2 songs or 3, and I may have did like 6 on that album.
Dude, that time period of them was very exciting. It was exciting looking back.
I wonder what happened to him, Romeo. I did business with him years later. Me and Lays, who was the manager of MOP, we had a label deal together over at Relativity Sony, and he had this guy group that I heard the tape at Vincent's house called Battle. Matter of fact, for shits and giggles, I'll send y'all the album. It never came out, but it was 4 brothers from Chicago.
You know what? Yeah, I think that album's on Bandcamp, you know.
Get out of here.
I'm telling you, I think I downloaded it someone sent me a link, might have one of my music buddy friends. I'm like, Battle. Sure remember these.
Battle. There was a song on there.
It's on Bandcamp. Sure it's on there.
No. These boys sang. They sang. They were straight church boys out of West Side Chicago. And I wrote and produced and played maybe 80%. I was in my Prince mode. 80% of all the instruments on there. And it was great. I almost killed myself doing it. I stayed up 96 hours straight at one point.
Jeez.
Drinking. I used to smoke back then. So I'm smoking Benson Hedges and drinking Mountain Dew and living off of that. And
So what happened to Romeo? So obviously this Romeo single came out. The album dropped.
Him and Vincent had some kind of big fallout. I wasn't really around for it because I was having my own group, GHP. So I'm working on that album, which I'll send you that, Steve. I have that album.
Which
the GHP, Group Home Production, was the group I put together.
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you about that later.
I think like $2 million was spent on that album. I walked out the studio one day and just never came back.
What do you mean?
I mean, it was Vincent. Vincent was Vincent got a lot of Donald Trump in him.
Okay, okay. I guess a good way of explaining him. Okay.
Yeah, I'll leave it right there.
So,
could be very charming.
Huh? No.
So Entouch was officially ended by this period.
Yeah, Entouch was dead by then. So I had my new group. Eric was writing, producing, working on some stuff. We still talking all the time. Again, we have never had one argument, not one. It was more about getting away from Vincent at this point. And he's like, "Why are you still there?" I'm like, because no matter what, I'm creating catalog. That was my thing. I own these songs. Because I ain't do the same thing that I did for the first album, but it touches stuff. You know what I mean? And We was like, we gotta have to figure out the publishing. And at this point, I was actually negotiating my publishing deal with Sony too, or EMI at the time. So, yeah, man, we did maybe 40 songs for the Group Home album. Again, it was
What
jazz.
kind of sound was it? What kind of?
It
how
was
would you describe the sound of it.
We was getting ill. Like our lyrics was crazy. Like the first single pending was called "Fuck What You Heard," and it was think about what Entouch did with Too Hype on the next level. Like even the main ballad on that album was called "To Be in You," and it was romantic as hell, but you know, kind of cervical.
Was it going out on Elektra?
Yeah, it was gonna be on Elektra. And that's the other thing that happened. Bob Krass and I left. Sylvia took over, and Sylvia and Vincent didn't rock like that.
Oh, is that why we didn't see his name on any Keith Sweat albums after?
Well, Keith left Entertainment after that. He left after the second album because again, Vincent, you know, trying to be a creative, like you ain't, no, bro, that ain't what you do. He's good to have in the room when you're mixing. You know, that can hit a little harder, detail. But like, you know, you should change that drum pattern. You should learn how to dance. That will always be the center of my argument. You cannot tell me, like to this day, I don't have a driver's license. I can't tell you how to drive. I don't have a driver's license. Well, I'll have to get one when I move to Nashville. You know what I mean? If you don't dance, you can't tell me what will make somebody dance.
But how did you manage it? Because was he doing that because Gene Griffin would put his name on the publishing that he produced and wrote it in?
No, it was his publishing company. I can't remember the name of his publishing company.
But was he changing the stuff because of publishing or?
I wish I could tell you what sponsoring thought. He may have thought that artistically that he was right, but you're not an artist, so you're wrong already. You know what I mean? You're not an artist. It's not what you do. Do the business. Let the creators be the creators. Another reason why I'm such a Prince guy. He said it out loud always. Let the creators create, do the business, and leave us alone and do the business fairly.
So, do you think when Sylvia came in and she had a better track record when she took over Elektra, but you said because of their falling out, that just put a stop to all the...
Yeah, that kind of killed it. And then I was out. You know, by then I'm full blown producing. I'm producing for people. You know, I'm going. So yeah, that you know, Group Home tried to stay together. We actually had some meetings with, even had a meeting with Uptown. You know, because people had heard buzz about the project. But at last, it was done. It was, and I was done there. I mean, I've still gone back and, you know, done little things for Vincent, but catch up front. But you know,
so then when you and Eric just sort of went your separate producing ways, was there ever a lingering thing about, well, guys reunited?
We thought about, like, I moved to Atlanta at one point. And we actually started working on stuff. He got scraps because Eric is a musical hoarder, the most organized meat hoarder you ever met. But he still has the original disc, the Too Hype, the MPC disc, all that. He has all that.
Wow.
And we started working on stuff, and it felt we was doing some pretty good stuff. But it just, you know, I guess it just wasn't meant to be. And then I left Atlanta and moved to Nashville. And the crazy thing, Christopher Williams was kind of the reason how I ended up in Nashville. There was a label down there that wanted to sign him. And Derek Tresvant, Ralph Tresvant's uncle, was like, yo, Chris don't want to go down there without no producers. You know, no, what you doing? And I went down there and I actually started working for the label that was signing Chris. I was there for a year and a half, and then I ended up running the urban department for a publishing company down there. But like, I was down there for 12 years.
Wow.
Then I came back here, still writing, producing, figuring it out. And I was producing this wonderful artist from Hawaii, from LA in Hawaii, Talana. And through her, I reconnected with Lizzie Goodman. You both remember Lizzie, right? She was like the biggest socialite PR person in the game for years, especially through the early 2000s and late 90s. Puff, Jay, Backstreet Boys, Britney, all of them were her. So me and her started connecting, and I ended up running her music division for 10 years. And still writing and producing, everything that came through there that needed creative, I did. So it still worked out. And then when I left there, I was just like, it's time to do what I really want to do. And kind of how I'm at now with the house stuff. Slowly building it. I'm getting great feedback. You know what I mean? DJs are playing the stuff. It's a little bit more political than I remember. But, all you keep throwing enough content out there, it'll work. But that's kind of where I'm at.
What was it like then, being behind the scenes, running the labels and the publishing stuff? Did you then start to think, damn, is this what we signed? Because
Yeah,
it's
but you
like
know what?
Jay-Z learning the business and then
Yeah.
becoming a billionaire afterwards.
I was senior VP of an independent label when I lived in Atlanta as well. And yeah, man, it was different. I learned that I was so happy I know both sides of the destiny. That I was really happy about. That took place. But I also learned that some artists are just entitled as fuck and think they deserve the world. I remember a writer came to me, and I easily could have wrote the song myself. But I was like, here, let me see what you do with it. And I kind of liked what they did. I'm like, okay, let's make it happen. We're going to cut it on the artist. He was like, oh, I need you to pay my ASCAP fees, and I'm going to need this. I'm going to need that. I was like, word? That's how you feel? Okay. Call me tomorrow. And I just never spoke to them again. As I got older, I learned conflict is in the way. Actually, Commissioner Gordon showed me that. Just fall back. That's all you got to do. Fall back. No need to argue. No reason to get your blood pressure popping. Fall back.
I remember hearing an interview with the late Clark Kent, and
who I loved. Great friend. I love that man.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And he was talking about when Sylvia gave him a job at Elektra, and being on that side, and then seeing and wanting to help them with the contract. But she said, no, if they don't know it, they don't learn it.
Yeah. If their lawyer's not on top of it, it's not your responsibility. You know what I mean? And it's weird. It's a conflicted emotion, especially when you've been on both sides. And me just knowing Clark was like generally just a good human. He had a beautiful soul. You know what I mean? Me and him clicked from the first day we met. I was producing CC Rogers. I don't know if y'all remember. He had a New Jack Swing song called Thick Girls. Oh. I wrote that. I wrote that because he really liked thick girls. I wrote that. And me and Clark did the remix, but I just ended up replaying some keys. And Cece's a master pianist. He graduated from Berkeley. He's one of them dudes. So yeah, that was shit. I produced on the last 5-6 CC albums, 4 or 5 CC albums. I produced on every one of them.
I was going to ask, what do you think of the current house scene? Because the names that spring to mind, stuff I still collect is, do you know Ron Trent?
Yeah, I love Ron Trent.
Oh, he's
I don't know the person, but I know his music.
Oh,
I was listening to him last night, and we just lost Ron Carroll, whose voice I love. That man's voice. I'm big fans of lots of people. I like Shino Black. I like what Merlin Bob is doing right now. It's crazy. As a matter of fact, we both put out remix. Merlin, I hope you see this. We both put out remixes of In Your Eyes like a week apart. And you know, he's been consistently in the game, so his is getting charted faster and getting more added to
Okay.
DJ's list, which is understandable, you know. But you know,
It's just
that's
the
the game.
club scene just isn't there anymore to back it up. That's the issue. Like it used to.
It's there. Like my favorite genre. First of all, house has so many damn genres now.
Mhm.
Afro house,
Mhm.
funky house, melodic house. Like what?
Deep house and
Deep house. You
Yeah.
know, like I was confused when I first went to Track Source. I didn't know where to go. I was like, I'm just gonna stay on the top 100 and figure it out from there. But yeah, man, it's what I love about it is that when it's good, it's good. Now, my favorite genre of it just happens to be soulful house.
I was going to say, you must have heard the new? Have you heard the new 10 City project?
Oh, of course, I did.
The next generation.
Byron, you gotta
That was
remember,
great to see. Great to hear.
it wasn't, and I'm a fan of DJ Immaculate.
Mhm.
So you know, I'm happy that he's in the middle of that. We actually sat on the phone a couple of times with mutual friends, and he's been supportive in his own way since I got back into the that genre. So I'm very proud, and I love Byron Stingman. We've known each other since '87.
Wow.
It's 87, 88. Since that's how love goes.
Gosh, you're connected to so many people, and you can flick between. You can
It's crazy.
You can literally flick between hip hop, R&B, and house music. You
Oh
know?
yeah, absolutely.
Not many people can do. Not many can do that at all, really.
Marshall Jefferson. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's very funny. Christopher Williams just texted me.
What did you say?
I wonder if he's watching. He's gigging too much to watch anybody. Yep. He was asking if I was in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, he what was we on? I'm sorry.
Talking about how you've managed to go.
Oh, just know all these people.
Yeah,
it's been middle ground. It's been middle ground. It's like I've always been a friendly person. That unless you're disrespectful, and then again, it's that Pisces thing. They go opposite directions for a reason. You know what I mean? I'm an extremist. Either I'm all the way this way or I'm all the way that way. There's no real middle ground with me. And it's like me and Cece got really cool. Me and Marshall, I consider Marshall a mentor. We used to just sit around cracking jokes on each other for days. If you ever interview Marshall and you go, "What the fuck used to call you?" He'll tell you, "It ain't my place." Who else? Yeah, all them cats was around. I remember when Louis Vega was a little dude. David Morales, another person who supported us. And that's when Tony had Zanzibar. And Zanzibar was, besides the Paradise Garage, Zanzibar was the next place.
Mhm.
It was in Jersey, in Newark. But it's the other place that had a Richard Long sound system. So, you get in there and the bass actually messes with the rhythm of your heart. It's crazy. And these are all the guys that, and again, we were younger than everybody. We was babies, but not younger than Louis. I think Louis was a couple of years younger than us. But yeah, man, these are the things. And then you're doing the R&B tours. So, you're meeting all them guys. And, it was cool. And then I had so many friends that are like family. Like Joe Ski Love, the guy that made Pee Wee Herman. In our minds, we're brothers. You know what I mean? Like we're really like that close. I have Dougie, I have Chris. I don't have a lot of friends in this business. I know a lot of people, but the friends that I have in this business are more like family.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, I guess you can go ahead. Some of the guys are going to give some questions.
On R&B and the reason why. I mean, back then we had R&B artists who made records that made you dance, like Bobby Brown, Janet.
Yeah.
You could go on. I'm looking at like today's R&B generation, who are 25, 30 years younger than us, who've got that energy, they've got that youth on the side, but they don't seem to want to make people dance. I just don't get it. What has happened?
Me neither. But this is one of the reasons why I'm such a Chris Brown fan. You know what I mean? Like he understands performance. He gets it. And he's masterful at it. There's not a lot of people who's masterful at that no more. We lost one yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you think about the leap he made from the Brown Sugar album to the Voodoo album in his performing. Oh my God. it was like it went from. I mean, he was just so dope in the beginning that he didn't have to move, and then when he became that front man, much like Prince after the "I Want to Be Your Lover" album, that transition he made between "Dirty Mind" album and that 1999 tour, he became such a masterful performer, dog. So by the time it got to me, Prince was at his all-time peak, his all-time peaks of power on stage. Parade tour, Love Sexy, which is my all-time favorite Prince tour, Sound of the Times tours. Those tours right there, there was a person alive who could mess with that man on that stage. You know what I mean? But that it's not a lot of that. That's why I like Doja Cat. That girl performs.
Yeah, she is. She's trying.
Yeah.
She is doing that sort of stuff.
Beyonce is a performer. She understands, but she has that old school. You know, Jay became a performer. I remember the first time I saw Jay-Z on the show. I'm like, I gotta go home and watch the video. He had to learn how to become a performer, and he's really amazing at that shit. There's a handful. I think Neo is really good on stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a couple of independent acts that you see here and there that are amazing too.
Bruno Mars, what do you think?
Yeah, Bruno Mars, he's from the tradition, but he grew up as a performer.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean, Babyface is taking part of his show, Bruno's show, on his when he does his stuff.
I just saw a clip yesterday of Babyface running across the stage and doing dance. I'm like, when did he start that?
It's Bruno Mars when Bruno did his Vegas residency with the hooligans on stage, and so Babyface now when he tours he has his like 8 singers, and they exactly Bruno kind of. It works for Babyface because he does the melodies of his tracks, but it was Bruno's stuff that he took emulated.
Think about how many people have taken Dougie Fresh's show through the years.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever seen a Dougie Fresh show. But Dougie is one of the illest performers you will ever see on the stage.
I guess the question we had, because I know that you guys definitely wanted to have your own, your own sound and stuff, and but Teddy did the show with Dougie. I mean, so he must have been in the game, and he was. Growing up in New York? You said he sort of dominated? Did you guys ever cross paths?
First time I met Teddy. May have been at Dougie's house. It may have been at Dougie. Like everybody used to hang out on Dougie. Dougie used to have a brownstone on 123rd Street. And everybody hung out there. Like you go there any given day, Michael Bivins is out there, this one's out there. And you just never knew. I may have met him first there. But we really we had a lot of mutual friends, me and Teddy. And that's kind of how we started. Like we would see each other in the club, you know what I mean? And I like Damon Hall from first time I ever met him. He's just a good dude, good heart, great energy. Aaron was a performer on stage and off. So, I mean, one of my favorite voices ever on the planet. You know what I mean? But you know how you kind of have that thing, like I said, you would be no Nas without Rakim. And that chain is Stevie, Charlie Wilson, and Casey, JoJo, Cisco. You know what I mean? R. Kelly. I think R. Kelly took it and he just did his own thing.
Okay.
I mean, as sick and depraved as the man was, there's nothing no one could tell me about his talent. And he was good on stage. He was good on. He was a crooner. He understood that Sam Cooke crooning. All the tough shit I ain't get. But everybody I knew from Chicago was like, he ain't no tough guy. But he was. I'm an R. Kelly. He's made a lot of songs that I love. He has one song. Remember he did the gospel albums, the double album.
Yeah. You Save Me.
Yeah. He has this song called. Give me a second here, people. Three-Way Call.
Oh yes. I love that
one. Him, Kim Burrell. I can't listen to that song without crying. By the time it gets to the end, when they're screaming back and forth, and she's telling him what to do, and he's on his knees begging forgiveness, I felt him. I felt him so real. I think he was really begging for forgiveness. But You know what I mean? That song. Every time I hear that song, I tear up. Again, that's Pisces shit. All Pisces who are watching, you understand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's no, it's definitely yeah, that one was Kelly Price, Kim Burrell.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah, that song is special. That song
yeah,
is. But
yeah.
don't you have certain songs that always trigger you emotionally?
Of course.
Lady in My Life, Michael Jackson. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can barely, I can only listen to it maybe once every 3 months or something like that.
What's yours, Steve?
Um, I relate this to my mum, my mother who passed away 6 or 7 years ago. The Bee Gees,
Mm-hmm.
that big ballad, "How Deep Is Your Love."
I get
That
it.
comes on. I can't. I can't. I've got a.
No, three-way call for me.
Jeez.
Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. Um. Oh, I don't know if y'all ever seen the play or the movie Rent,
Mm,
but there's a song in there that they sing in this aid circle, aid support group circle, that
mm,
gets me every time. It's like there's the three. Four, I'm dying to write one of those, and people have told me like they hear two steps to the right and it takes them back to the place that makes them misty eyed or forever, and that feels good. But I want to. That's I want to write that. I try to do that through house music to give people a feeling in there that, like, I've seen Larry Levan play something in the garage and you see one guy dancing in the middle of the floor, wild as hell, crying.
mm.
It's therapeutic. It's a release.
Yeah.
And if the world don't need nothing right now, my brothers, it's a release at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, so are you now doing things through your own sort of independent label, releasing stuff, or are you
I have a
doing?
distribution deal with my
Okay.
good friend Michael Chase, MGM out of Australia. I have
Okay.
a distribution there. Another good friend of mine, who y'all, I'm sure y'all know who it is Roland Clark.
Oh
He's had
yeah.
records. Yeah, he's a good friend, and I just sent him a new record because he has a label. And this for some political reason, I was like, I need to put out some of these on the label. You know what I mean? Instead of just going directly from distributor, because you need track source, you need Beatport, you need all those things. And one of my new songwriting partners, N.K. Morton. Y'all may remember her from the early 2000s. Her name was Naka. She was on Island. She was, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just did a song with her that she wrote. I did the track.
Wow.
Well, fellas, she's a beast. And I've known her for like 30 years. So, you
Mm,
know, she's beautiful. Well, aesthetically, she's like, what Cleopatra probably really looked like. And
mm,
she her tone and her writing is incredible. And we have a record called Be Strong that's going to be coming out soon. I would have put it out already on Bandcamp and Tracksource, but I'm holding this one because it needs to write. It's that big. It needs, like, I sent it to Roland and was like, yo, you want to put this out? He has a label called Delete. He was like, this is bigger than me. This is bigger
wow.
than me. Like, you need Quantize, you need Nervous, you need one of them. I'm going to do the introduction letters for you. I mean, he's like, all of them know who you are, but I'm in their current circle, so let me do all these emails, and then you take it from
Wow.
there. I'm excited about 2026, bro.
It's interesting because some of those house labels from back in the day, they have kind of come back around, haven't they?
Oh
Like you
yeah,
said,
Strictly Rhythms coming back.
New Groove is putting stuff out. I've noticed,
Yeah,
and yeah, they're still out there.
because all you want to do is gig. That's all.
Mm,
I mean, everybody's like, "Yo, free, you need to start DJing." I mean, I was a DJ. Anybody who loved hip hop DJed as a kid. You know what I
mm,
mean? But I think there's a real art to it, and I don't take it for granted for a house DJ. And if I did it, I would have to do it I would have a whole production set up
mm.
as well as not turnkey. I'm carrying nobody's record, but my CDJs, whatever, Serato, I would still have a whole production set up because I would be making music while I was playing.
Mm.
I think
Wow.
that would be my niche. You know what I mean? And it's so easy to do now. But it's if you're playing a song at 24 beats per minute and you know the key, you do a 4 chord pattern, throw it in the Suno, and go give me a soulful house joint at this tempo and this key, and boom, and then you got one of your people there sing this. You making records on the spot. You know what I mean? So
So are you embracing AI? Because I wonder, as a producer and writer yourself, do you see that things like Suno can make it quicker for you to do what you're doing, or does it almost say that anyone without talent can just decide to become a
Anyone
producer?
without talent can make something, but they can never do what I do. They can never do what Louis does. You know what I mean? They can never do what a CeCe Rogers, a Marshall Jefferson, a Todd Terry, a, a, a Terry Hunter, Mike Dunn. You can't do what they do on there. Because we know what we're having. For us, it's the same as sampling, bro. It's like sampling. It's like drum machines when drummers panicked when the MPCs came out. It's the natural evolution, bro. And I actually went and took AI classes because you become obsolete. That's on you. That's nobody's fault but yours. So I went and took an AI course.
Wow.
And it's been one of the smartest things I did in the past year and a half, besides getting ready to move to Nashville.
Wow. I mean, okay. So apart from your own stuff they're putting out, what else we should expect in 2026?
I'm excited. It's a couple of new artists that I'm developing. And you know, I've been doing a lot of shows. Like, first of all, can we do a rest in peace for Elias? You know, Follow Me. He was a good friend. I was in the middle of doing a song for him when he passed.
Wow.
House music legend. You know, these guys like that. Like, I'm trying to get a song on Byron. I'm gonna send Byron like 4 songs. I think he'd be trying not to hurt my feelings. Like, I've been doing this for too long. 4 songs. My feelings can't be hurt, bro. If it ain't the one for you, it's not the one for you. I will keep doing it until it goes, that's that shit right there. You know what I mean? Because I just love his voice so much. You know, and I'm hoping to like end up collaborating with like the Todd Terrys and, you know, DJ Immaculates, you know, people I like. You know, I'm not really into the political game no more than, you know, rock with somebody just because they hot. You know, if you hot and I like you, yeah. But if you hot and I think you whack, you could be hot and whack. We've all seen it happen.
I mean, could you see yourself doing an album with, you know, getting Jackie to sing on the track, Tammy Lucas,
Absolutely.
Shantae Savage, want to get some of these old 90s R&B soul singers?
Yeah, let me tell you, I would go back. Actually, between me and you, I already have a joint with Christopher Williams. That's crazy.
Wow.
I have a joint with Christopher Williams. He's doing some other recording right now, so we got to time it exactly right.
There's an exclusive for you listeners. There's an exclusive for you there. He's got a track coming with Christopher Williams.
I got a joint with Christopher Williams, and when I tell you that Chris sound like Colonel Abrams and Teddy Pendergrass had a baby on this joint, you know, and we cut it here at my house, and I have a full studio in the house, and my girl was upstairs, and she was like, I'm on the 3rd floor. I'm in the basement. She's on the 3rd floor of our house. And she heard him like he was standing next to her singing. Like, people don't realize the power this cat has vocally, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, All I See is one of my top 5 favorite songs ever.
My favorite Christopher Williams song will always be and forever be Promises, Promises.
That's a great record.
Okay. That Timmy Gatlin, right?
Yeah, Timmy and Wookie did that.
Yeah, Timmy Wookie, yeah.
God bless the dead.
Okay, yeah. Well, was Wookie on Wookie? No, that's not Wookie's Stewart.
Didn't Wookie pass?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Wookie.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to put you in the dirt, my G.
Yeah, I was thinking Wookie. No, but
I thought Wookie passed. I could have sworn somebody told me. Yo, Wookie, I'm so sorry, bro.
yeah.
I did not mean to put you in the.
Both of them watch the show, so no, Wookie. He doesn't want to come on the show, but yeah, Wookie. Yeah.
Wookie made a lot of dope records, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of them cats that don't get the love he deserves. Him and Timmy and Fred McFarlane. I can't remember Fred's partner's name. They were killers too. You know, they did Somebody Else's Guys. You remember that joint? They were out here killing. See, but I was lucky, man, because I worked with a Limited Touch.
Do you mean Alan George? Is that him?
Alan George, absolutely, Alan. And I'm lucky because when I first came in the game, I was around the Kenny Nicks, Crown Heights Affair, around Ray Reid and William and Bubba, and they were producing everything that was hot back then. I was there when they did Funky Sensation, bro.
Wow.
When McCrae.
Seriously?
I was there when they did the French Jolie records. I was there when first time I ever saw artificial hand claps, Kenny Nicks doing the hand claps, the heartbeat. I was there in the room.
Wow. Wow.
I used to sell weed to all them guys when I was like 14. But Sandy would bring me because Sandy played bass on a bunch of them stuff, and Lenny played keyboards on a bunch of them things. So I was there, you know, and made a little money while I was there. But yeah. Yeah. And then they started sending me out to get tea. The guy who was like the manager of it all was Donnie Linton. And he would start sending me out for tea or whatever. And the next thing I know, I was a roadie. Hey, we're going here this week. Okay. $25 a night. I was making more money with the weed easier than that. But that's what got me on the door because I got my first deal with Eddie O'Loughlin and Next Plateau when I was like 16. That's when I was rapping.
Benson, who's one of your biggest fans, he did ask if there are any unreleased Entouch songs that you think we'll ever get to hear.
There's a couple.
There's
a couple. There is a couple. Me and Eric started some joints. They may not be completed, but there's a couple. There's a couple. Eric is the hoarder organizer.
I mean, how is Eric these? I did hear I got a DM from his daughter because I think his daughter's doing music as well. She was just saying that this is my father, and I'm like, how is it? Because he doesn't seem to be online at all. And so
he'll pop on for like 4 months, then disappear. Pop back on for 4 months and then disappear. What's her name? Bryce, because that's the only daughter he has.
I think so, yeah.
And she's a content creator.
Right. Okay.
It's, those are like my nieces and nephews. We was all there when each other's kids was born. And his son Kai is an amazing guitar player. Plays his ass off.
You guys did Pass the Mic. What was that like reuniting to do that with DJ Cassidy?
That was great. Well, Chill Will's the coordinator. Dougie Fresh is DJ. He's the coordinator for Cassidy. So he called me and was like, yo, you want to do it? I was like, well, let me check with Eric. Sometimes Eric want to do something. Sometimes Eric don't. He don't rock. I don't rock. That's, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I spoke to him, sent him the thing. And after he saw the first Pass the Mic, he was like, yeah, let's do that. So we did that. And it was fun. He was in Atlanta because Eric lives in Atlanta. And I was in Nashville at the time. I was working on the project. So I was in Nashville. So I cut my piece while we was in Nashville. Because you cut separately and then edit it together.
And then just put it together. Okay. Yeah. So you guys went both in it. Okay.
Yeah. So it was fun. I've known Cassidy years. I remember he was a kid running around.
Are you here? Wow.
Yeah. And he's been around. Like that's a guy who loves what he does and he loves the culture. So I respect it. But yeah, it was cool. And we did the Tom Joyner cruise, I think, that year too.
Oh, okay. So you reunited.
Yeah, they do the time. We reunited for a couple of shows. Like we did 2 Video Music Box anniversary concerts. We did Tom Joyner. Hey, form a couple of times, get a week vacation. Why not? Make a little money. Big shout to my man Kev Ski.
Benson said that he says All Night is responsible for my daughter.
What's your name her?
What's her name, Benson? Yeah, I interviewed Cassidy because Pass the Mic started around the time I started doing this, and my aim was to interview everyone that came on especially Volume 3, which was my favorite.
Okay.
But
3 was special. That shit was special.
Yeah, 3 was special. Who
he put together for that was crazy.
Yeah. Yes. He said Madison Rose. His daughter's name.
Great name. Madison. What's up, Maddie? What's up, Daddy? I made your father shoot up the club.
Do you think we'll get you and Jackie in the studio?
I need that to happen. First of all, I love her. She is one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
I love her. And I actually like working with women more than men. They smell better. They look better. You know, and you know, it's just like Jackie was a star when we first met in my eyes, and she's still a star to me in my eyes. You know what I mean? So I felt like she never got her just desserts.
Yeah.
And if I could introduce her to another genre and it works, you know, imagine her and Barbara Tucker ending up on a song together.
Oh,
That should be fire.
yeah, definitely.
You know, that shit would go crazy. So, you know, and I'm good friends with Barbara Tucker's manager. So, you know.
Yeah, no, we definitely need to hear that. Now, as we just come to the end, because you know we appreciate the time that you've given us and stuff, and any questions you have for free before we wrap up. I always like to find, especially when you're a producer, if you had an opportunity to pick 10 producers that you really admire, which 10 would make your list? It used to be 5. Now I've gone to 10 because I realized
first of all,
that's a big ask.
You could have warned me way earlier that this was going to be the ending question, so I could have had I could have started putting it together in my mind. Well, there's certain people that you know, and it's all genres, right?
Yeah, it can be any genre. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, definitely. Well, let's go with the standards: Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, L.A. Babyface, Teddy Riley, Dr. Dre.
Wow.
Easy Mo B.
Wow. Okay, going to hip hop roots.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Who else? See, because I like artists that were producers who you couldn't necessarily tell that the artist produced that record. Like when R. Kelly produced the record, you knew it was R. Kelly. When Prince produced the record, except for that Kenny Rogers joint, you knew it was Prince. So I'm thinking about people that was their main thing. I know there's somebody that I love that I'm just not thinking. Oh, Richard Harrison, is that his name?
Yeah, Rich Harrison. He did A. Marie, did some just stuff with Beyonce.
You think of
out of DC.
Talk about having a signature.
With the
upon
drums.
first chorded note, you know that's him.
Yeah.
Timbaland. Everybody who changed the fabric, Teddy changed the fabric. Harrison should have changed the fabric. I don't know what happened. Timbaland changed the fabric. Pharrell changed the fabric. People who changed everything that was going on. I like Metro Boomin too. I think he's dope. Hit Boy, I think he's dope. I don't know what number I'm at, but as you can see, I could go through any. I'll start pulling out country producers.
I thought you were gonna bring people like Premier, you know, people like that.
Excuse me, punch me in my neck. Of course, Primo. And Primo's a friend, so he could really be mad. But no, that absolutely I mean, that's another one. Changed the whole fabric of hip hop. You know what I mean? So you can say the same thing for why his name not coming to my mind? Him and Nas just did an album, and then him and Havoc just did an album.
What you mean, Alchemist?
Yes, he's a beast. He is a beast, and you know.
What about the Green Eyed Bandit?
Who's the Green Eyed Bandit? Oh, Eric Sermon.
Yeah,
he made one of my favorite records. You Got to Chill, because You Got to Chill and Too Hype came out like a week apart. So that summer of '89 belonged to both of us. I did, you know what I loved about him? He was so funk orientated.
He was.
You know what I mean? Like he was to the East Coast what Dre was to the West Coast with the funk samples. So he's there. I don't know if he's in my top 10, but he's definitely
There's one guy in house circles we're not mentioned, Frankie Knuckles.
Oh, absolutely, Frankie. I didn't mention none of my house producers, did I? No. I need genres, man. You killing me.
But now you're back into house though, because out of Chicago you had a lot of the, you had a lot.
Marshall will always be one of my favorite house producers. Marshall has an integrity that almost makes him to radical. uh, Marshall's one of my favorite producers. I love what Terry Hunter does. I love what Mike Dunn does. DJ Eclectic, Ron Carroll, God bless the dead. There's a guy out of South Africa called Ecstasy, who's a beast. Like, ooh. And then we get back to the other side. We gotta go to Gamble and Huff. You know, come on, man, it's not fair. I can't do it.
Yeah,
Next question, Nandi. Next question, please.
Yeah, no.
Top was the top 5 songs.
Benson asked about which demo track do you wish landed on your albums?
He's really digging Benson.
Talk about one that we did, or somebody else's. Oh,
which demo track do you wish landed?
We had two. We had a song called "Sex with a Z." That was crazy. It was supposed to be on the second album.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the song. Just Like You. That was supposed to be on the first album. Ray Daniels was head of A&R of Entertainment, and he loved that song. And I liked it a lot too. Just Like You. Me and Erica did that one together. That should have made the first album.
What happened to it?
Vincent Davis had it.
Okay, but what happened? But the track itself, where's the track?
You know what? I lost a lot of my. I used to have a giant bin that I used to call the universe of my music, because from the time I was just doing little demos, playing the piano in my house, you know, into a tape recorder, up until, you know, the first Entouch album, I had all the cassettes in it, everything. And my mom, like next month to the day almost will be the 3rd year of anniversary of losing my mom. And Lord knows, to like you were saying, Stevie, I'm still dealing with that. You know what I mean? I was forced to go to therapy. Wifey put me in a headlock. It was like, you going somewhere. So yeah, it was she had it there, and then we had to move her into a facility. She lived in Scottsdale, Arizona at the time. I have a lot of family in Scottsdale. And moved there, and somehow my whole bin got lost. I don't know how. I mean, I had disc in there, man, like MPC disc, everything, and it got lost. But you know,
damn.
Yeah.
How was that? Well, how hard was that?
I broke some shit. Some shit got broken. I probably cursed my brother out. But you know, it's like losing, you know, like losing your kids. You know, he was in the department store. I went to the bathroom and he was gone. It felt like that.
Wow. And probably Eric didn't have a backup of those demos that you guys did.
He probably does, but there's a lot of stuff that I did by myself.
Okay.
Too, and I had stuff like I produced. I had a girls group called Totally Basic on Atlantic at one point.
Totally Basic.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are they? Totally Basic.
3 girls out of Brooklyn. They were special. Craig Carmen signed them and Rich Christina. And their management just, y'all know what I mean when I do that?
Yeah. It's amazing how much music you guys would do, because when I talked, like Tim Kelly from Tim and Bob says, yeah, we did all these tracks.
Hold up, stop. Tim and Kelly, Tim and Bob.
Yeah.
Absolutely on my top 10 list.
Okay.
They made one of my favorite songs ever in life.
Which one?
John B. They Don't Know.
Okay.
They don't, that's one of my favorite songs, period. Like right there with like Force MD, the Force MDs, Tender Love, Landslide, God Only Knows by the Beach Boys. As y'all say, I got very eclectic taste. And he was also one of my favorite producers too.
Brian Wilson.
Yes. Beast.
Okay. Wow.
Beast.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, Tim and Bob. Yeah. Okay. You know that, and they and John, when he said he did all the stacked his vocals, and Tim and Bob just, as a production crew, they just say, yeah, what do you want to bring into it, so that it's a collaborative effort. Then they're not like, we write and produce it, you guys need to be part of it.
That makes
Okay.
you usually get a better performance that way. You know, some people just wanted to come in, this is how it goes. And the great thing about it now is I demo the songs with Suno. So
And you get a vocal, an artist?
A vocal. And after going to class, I could prompt it to sound like who I needed to sound like.
Man.
And go here. Learn the joint. And if you got your own vocal rig in the house, just do what's there and send it to me.
So then, if you can get it from Suno, why do you need an artist to sing on it? If you,
oh, I don't. Please be clear. I absolutely don't. But with people I have relationships with and I love,
yeah,
I want to work with them. But
yeah,
no. Understand, in 2026, there's going to be a lot. I've actually made up an artist already. I picked his name. His name is Finster, Baby Finster.
Finster, okay.
Yep. Yeah, soulful house artist, Finster. As a matter of fact, send me your emails in my thing, and I'll send you some of the songs.
Okay.
Finster.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me just get Benson says, I hope you know how much these two albums meant to your fans. I still play both as I'm driving to my customers. Absolutely must have joined us. Thank you for this night. Yeah, okay.
Told you we got some cult. Entouch got a very deep cult following, you know.
Yeah, and here's the thing: you don't know things like this exist. First of all, Ben, thank you, my dude. Made me feel like, you know, I lived up. I made it. I made Joyce proud. So that was my mom. So yeah, I made her proud. So that's good. And Lord knows I put her through a lot of hell before that happened. So I owed it to her.
I think just before we leave, because I'm a therapist and I started this during during lockdown.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I'm a therapist, and I started this during lockdown as a way of hearing positive stories. So just to inspire, but also it was because those of us within the Black community globally do not engage in therapy. We tend to we'll go to church, we'll talk to our buddies. And the fact that you mentioned that you actually had therapy when your mom passed, and it isn't something that's very common and stuff. Did you find it beneficial being able to speak to a stranger to?
Well, I went through a couple till I found the one that I felt that resonated with me. But you know, my mother had me in therapy after my father got murdered. My brother got murdered. She had me. I started therapy. My mom wasn't the average. My mom's from Moscow. I guess I didn't mention that part. Huh?
She's from where?
Moscow.
She's Russian?
Half Russian, half black.
Wow.
My musical lineage goes back to Paul Robeson. Paul Robeson was my mother's godfather.
Wow.
When he was like, I'm tired of all this racist shit and I'm moving to Russia, my grandfather was the one who was like, yeah, you're right. Let's go to Russia. And went there, met my grandmother, had beautiful 5 beautiful baby girls, came back to the States and raised them in the States. But my mom was born in Moscow. My grandmother was Russian.
Wow.
Her name was Olga Ladinova.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we go deeper, my family, we're mutts. We're such mutts. But wow. My family my mom was born in Russia. She came here as a kid.
And so that's why understanding the importance of, I specialize working with under 18, so I work with kids and stuff. So I can imagine as a 13-year-old,
I would have rage. Like one time something happened, and I just picked up a chair and threw it. We had a big plate glass window in front of our house, like in our living room, and I just threw the chair through the living room window. Like I had these impulses that I couldn't stop. And she knew she had to stop it before I end up doing something or somebody doing something to me. You know what I mean? And she got me in therapy early. I was always in the middle of something. You know, my mother, absolute superhero. Absolute. think about it and miss it every day, and we're not talking about it no more because I ain't crying on camera.
Okay. No, that is definitely fine. We definitely appreciate the fact that you've come on, shared us some history of the group. I'm sure nostalgia, if the Rolling Stones in the 90s can be wheeled out to perform, we'd always hope a New Edition coming back,
Who I'm so freaking proud of. If any of y'all see this, I mean, ain't like we was friends, but I met each of them like passing by or whatever. Y'all are my favorite. After the Jackson 5, y'all are my favorite all-time male crew. Y'all are our Temptations, and y'all never understand how much we love and respect what you've done. Because who been through it more than them? Who? They are the Rolling Stones of Black culture.
Yeah. They're the Temptations, Full Tops, and Rick James
Put
all
it
wrapped in
all
one.
together, and then they had hip hop culture attached to it, so that intensified everything. You know what I mean? Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I had a ball. I enjoyed it. Inbox me your email so I can send you all the songs I was talking about.
Yeah.
And I'll keep in touch when I get down to Nashville. Steve,
great, awesome interview, mate. Thank you so much for your time.
Yo, Steve, you supportive of everything I do. If I don't see a light underneath nothing else, I see your ass right there. So,
you mean a lot, mate. You mean a lot because that's why, mate.
Are you in England?
Yeah.
I need to come hang out. My friends over there have been like, yo, I haven't been to England in 10 years.
I thought you said your daughter's over here.
She doesn't live there. She comes here to DJs. She does the Everyday People Party. Is that what it's called? It's a big party that happens there twice a year. Okay. And she's a DJ. So she does, but she lives in DC. And she's like the queen of it there. And she has a residency in New York, and she comes to London. She jumps around everywhere DJing.
Okay.
Oh, can I give everybody my
yes.
socials?
Yes.
Free Smith on Facebook, but I don't think I could get no more friends on there. On everything else, it's Free the Dreamer. Free_the Dreamer.
Check out his new music.
Is it the Dreamer? Is that one?
DA Dreamer, like the Bronx, the Dreamer.
Free the Dreamer. Okay.
And everything, Spotify, Track Source, Bandcamp, everything.
Is this it? Free the Dreamer?
That's it on online, but I mean on like Instagram and on TikTok. But on everything else, it's just Free the Dreamer. No slash.
Okay. No underscore. Yeah. So I guess if anyone just searches,
you'll find me. I'll pop up.
If you search it, Free the Dreamer, actually just search for him.
I've already dropped like maybe 7 house singles between Spotify.
You'll probably see we'll probably reel some bits from this interview.
Okay.
We'll tag you in it and we'll put, because you've just told us some great stories this evening. We're going to reel some great bits.
My friends have been telling me forever I need to do a podcast or write a vlog or something about the stories and shit I've seen. But, everything's not meant to be so.
Yeah. And there's a lot you said. Now, Benson, your biggest fan, said, come back with Eric one day.
I'll actually talk to him about it. And me and Eric are like really funny together. So y'all know. Okay. I will absolutely talk. I owe him a call. It was just his birthday, so I owe him a call.
Okay.
All right. Guys.
Yeah. Well, we thank you, Free. And yes, we'll definitely be in touch and we'll help promote some of the music.
Jackie told me you would be one of my best interviews ever. She was great. Jackie's my big.
Let the man go now. Let the man go now. He's got food to eat.
I got finished packing. These movies are gonna be here sooner than I think. All right, guys.
Good night.
Much love. Salute.
Take care.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that kind of.
And somewhere in between
us, or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you with.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No, okay.
They don't understand what those boys winning all spirits.
play it.